Hi guys, how's everybody doing? I'm finally here. I'll bring you onto the main screen now. How's everybody doing? The stream look all alright. I've managed to get the dropped frames down to about 4.5. They were at like 15 to 20%. So it's coming way down now. Something was acting a bit funky. So how's everybody doing there? Hey Vogon, how you doing? I'm just going to change this light over here a little bit. It's a bit too orangey for my liking. Oh, that's even oranger. That's blue light instead. Hey Vogon. So is anybody else going to be building a board this evening with me? Some of these bits out of the way. Bledden, do you have a board to build this evening or not? Or you just come to chill? Just chill. Fair enough. Well, you got a bit of time before your KFC turns up, I guess. So it's not too bad. Won't see it for a few days. My other half's playing Sims at the moment, so. How's the music levels, by the way, guys? Is it too loud? Too not bad? Let me know if it's too loud, and I can turn it down a bit. It's very soft. Okay, let me just turn the. There you go. How about now? I only want it as a little bit of background music, but I'll turn it up a little bit further. Oh, you like the level? Okay. I'll put it back. It's only going to be a little bit louder, so seeing as there's a couple of you in here, and might as well start the stream. What we've got is we have got a KBDFans 8X2. I bought this off of Fleeceman the other day. I've sold a couple of boards, as you can see there and there, what would be there. I've sold a couple of boards, and so I decided to replace those boards that have been sold. And so one of the ones that happened to come up right as I was searching around for a possible potential board was Fleeceman's 8X2, and so it's completely unused. The box is a little bit broken here and there, but at the end of the day, it's just the box. The rest of the board is completely unused. PCB's unsoldered, so yeah, snapped that one up and decided to finish off with my switches. So give you guys some context. These switches have taken me an awful long time. We're talking each switch has taken me 20 minutes each, and so the reason that they've taken so long is I have individually broken these in. They've gotten 20 minutes of individual break-in time, and that's just me sitting there pressing, angled pressing, side pressing, everything, and so they get 20 minutes each. And so let's do some quick maths. Let's get the calculator up. So there's in this board there is 84 switches. So 84 times 20, and then divide that by 60. That should give us 28 hours of switch pressing time. So this has taken me 28 hours to get to this point. Which is a very long time. And so after I'd done the 20 minutes on each switch, I did them individually. After the 20 minutes, I would disassemble them. I'd take the cream stems out, put the lubed, I'd start lubing them first. So all of these have been lubed with 205 grade 0. And from there I'd put the 72p spring in. So I've got progressive springs in these. Lubed progressive springs at that. They're lubed with 105. Put them back together, and I then decided further down the line that I'd swap the stems out. So these are using, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, or if the camera's going to play ball. You can play ball, camera, come on. Yeah, there we go. I'll bring it back a little bit. I don't know where the focus point is. There we go. So you might be able to just about see these have got a slightly opaque stem inside them, and so these are the Invir UHMWPE, the ultra high molecular WPE. I can't remember what it is. Polyethylene. So can somebody tell me what the UHMWPE stands for? I can't remember it now. But they've got these stems in that are super smooth, and from my testing on these, some are smooth, some aren't so great, some are a little bit tactiley, some are a bit shit at the end of the day. So what I'm hoping for is that I've chosen the best out of the 110 to go in there. So yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to open this up, and you guys can have a look, see what you guys think. My bitrate is playing around a little bit this evening for some reason. It seems to be struggling at times, so I'm sorry if there's a bit of lag here and there. So this is the top of the box, nothing else on it. You can see there's a little rip on the sides of the box, but that doesn't really matter that much. So they've used a nice hard foam, protects it quite nicely in the box, albeit it came in a slightly larger box as well. So I've already been through this box just to make sure everything was here, but it comes with the little rubber O-rings for the what would be the sort of the burger mount that we're going to be doing in this. Comes with the additional little parts, so the little screws that the plate screws into the top case. And so we've got the brass plate. Come on. So this has got like a sort of a matte finish to it. It's a really nice finish. It's not one of those finishes that when you touch it you end up marking it. It's got like a coating over the top of it, which prevents that. So that's a added bonus to that. And so we also get the PCB. So this is the PCB. Let me take it out of this plastic wrapper as well. So here is the ATEX2's PCB. Come on, there we go. And you can see that it's got a couple of little relief cuts down the middle here for extra flex for the switches. So I'm not exactly sure how much of a difference that's going to make, seeing as we've got a brass plate, but maybe might make a little bit of difference, you never know. The ATEX also comes with a rubber pad, so this goes underneath the come on, focus, you can focus, there you go. This comes with the board, and it goes underneath the PCB, between the PCB and the case, so just a little bit of isolating foam, help it to reduce the ping, hopefully. And I will be using that in the build tonight. And so another piece of foam just to protect the actual case itself. And I've already lifted this case out, and it is substantially heavier than I was expecting. So much so, this is a Mech 27 in the background here, and it is heavier than the Mech 27. And so it's got a bit of heft to it, but it is silver and brass. So here we go. It's probably going to catch the light just nicely. The anodization on this thing is absolutely beautiful. They've done such a good job. I've had a really good look around the board, and I cannot find any imperfections on it at all. They've done a really good job. Sorry, any imperfections on the anodization, that is. There is very small imperfections on the brass weight. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them in there to show you, but there's like a little imperfection like here. Don't know if you can just about see that, but that's an internal weight, so realistically I don't care that much. You can see my fingerprint marks on here now. It's quite warm in here and the case is quite cold, so come on, there we go. So you can see the logo there. Fleeceman said that there were some imperfections on the actual the weight itself on this side, but realistically I cannot see any. So I'm really happy with this overall. It's really excellent, and it's quite heavy. It is very heavy. So the first thing that I'm going to do for this is I'm going to put the little feet onto it so that I can put it on the desk just over to the side of us. I don't want to get the underside scratched up because of some piece of junk that's on one of the desks. So it comes with some little rubber bump-on feet, which works fine for me. And it also comes with a couple of extra screws here and there. So in the little packet, I've got 2 extra little black screws, and these are for mounting on the bottom of this. Seems to work relatively well, so relatively good mounting system to hold it in place. They've gone for almost like a seamless design on the sides. So for tonight's build, I have done a bit of prep other than the switches. So I have lubed some of the stabs, not all of them. I'm going to be lubing a few of the stabs this evening. One of the stabs even. So let me know what you think of the lubing overall. So that's the case. So let's move this case over here. I'm going to put it on top of the piece of foam that I've got there. There we go. So that's everything in the box. So throw the box over here. Put the box on. Okay, so let's get the stabs out. So I'm going to be using, these are the ones that are lubed. Oh, excuse me. These are the ones that are lubed. So these have been lubed with, these are Zeal stabs. See if I can get them in nice and close. So these are just the Zeal V2 stabs. They've been lubed with dielectric grease, a very good coating. And if Anarchy was here, he'd be saying how much he hates my lubing method for these, but it seems to work relatively well for me. And so I've done these ones here. I haven't done this one, so as part of the demonstration, I'll show that off. Let me just get my screwdriver set out because I'm going to need that, and I'm also going to need my hockey tape. So let's get the PCB. I'm going to get these ones in first, and then I'll lube this last one. So unlike other stabs, you don't have to clip these come pre-clipped, fortunately. So Zeal has done a good job on that aspect, that you don't have to, at least you don't have to clip them. Failing to think how wide these need to be now. Should be enough. I unfortunately lost the little springy bit on my penknife the other day. It snaps off, so I'm having to manually spring it back, which is a pain. To buy another one at some point. So is everybody getting their takeaway orders in early tonight before tomorrow's crackdown? I know that Bledin is already getting his large order in. That's big rips there, bud. Interesting. From here, it doesn't look like the stabs are directly centered, but it might just be that the other stabs are around it. So what you're going to have from the takeaway then, if you are going to be having, if she is going to allow you to have it, if the woman of the house is going to allow you to have it. Don't have a KFC anywhere near us, so going to put these stabs on. I need to take these off. So I've got a few viewers in tonight, only a few, but if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them. I'm here to help if you do have any keyboard related questions. Yeah, for a little while now I've been looking forward to actually using these switches. They've taken long enough for me to actually build them up, and to finally be at that point where I can actually use them. It's gonna be a great relief. The only thing that I'm very wary about is that they're gonna be shit. People have had problems with UHMWPE stems having little sort of like not clickiness, but like bumps, tactility, all sorts of weirdness with them. So I'm just fighting with this screw to go in. So I'm hoping, for God's sakes, come on screw. So I'm hoping that that's not going to be the case with these. There was a couple in the batch that I had so far that have been a bit shitty, but otherwise it's been alright so far. The hockey tape is my thing. How you doing though, Reverend Swo? Is that which Swo are you? If it is Swo, is this Irish Swo or a different Swo? The Swoy. It is Irish Swoy. How you doing? How you doing? I haven't seen you in a very long time. Or talked to you in a very long time, actually. How does the how does League of Legends go? Not been playing League of Legends. Oh wow. Yeah, okay. So if you've not been playing League of Legends, you've been playing. It won't be Apex Legends because Apex Legends has got like the phase of that's gone. Are you playing Tarkov? I've literally just seen the chat. Tarkov, yes. I'd have thought Apex Legends, but yo, Jampo, how you doing? I'm very well. I'm very well. How you doing? I don't actually have you showing up on my friends list very often because I am normally on the UK server, so I don't see you on there. But have you tried the new COD yet? No, unfortunately, you're not in my top 8. It's alphabetical order, so no character to it. That's a shame. I mean, I saw recently that they're thinking that there's been leaks of the Call of Duty 2 remaster. So, oh hey something. Hey Ben, how you doing? That's so guys. If you don't know that, something is my cousin. How's lockdown? Yeah, lockdown's great. Yeah, I mean, I've kicked Becca out of the room for this stream, but she's been sat literally right next to me over the last week. Been a bit manic really. Went down to town earlier to go try and find some eggs. I'm meant to be baking a cake on Sunday, and for Sunday, and no one has eggs. I don't know what's gone wrong with people. I don't know, like, why are eggs top priority and like eggs and toilet roll top priority? It's mad. It is mad. What are the cream? Jampot asks, what are the creams lubed with? They are lubed with 205 grade 0. What would be my go-to lube for anything really? Yeah, it's probably the best stuff. You don't need to tell them every time. I do. Full disclosure, Ben, I have to make sure that they know that you're not shilling for no reason. Swirl asks, have you stocked up on bog roll? The week before we bought 24 rolls. Nothing to do with the coronavirus. We just buy 24 rolls at a time. Good luck, eggs, flour. I actually we managed to get some self-raising flour and the other bits and pieces. It was literally just eggs. Sainsbury's, we went in there and they have a huge aisle. I mean, way bigger than the wall behind us, which is normally just filled with eggs. And yeah, nuts, absolutely nuts, completely empty. So yeah, Ben, I went down to the local butchers and they happened to have enough eggs, so I bought a dozen eggs, which was excellent. But the Iceland across the road from it, they ran out of eggs in about an hour. They said so, which is just nuts, just nuts. Yeah, I got caster sugar. I got granulated sugar, caster sugar, and icing sugar. Yeah, just to be doubly sure. I'm making what is it? Lemon curd? No, lemon drizzle. Lemon drizzle cake. That's what I'm making. Lemon curd cake. Well, I guess it is. It's got lemon curd in it. So 24 rolls should last you about a week. I mean, the coronavirus doesn't have any symptoms of just shitting absolutely everything, does it? At least I hope not. Is that why everybody's been buying their bog roll up? have I made a mistake here? Is one of these one of the ones that is unlubed? Yes, it is. This one's the unlubed one. I managed to mix them up accidentally there. This one's the unlubed one. Did you show off the 8X? And what colour is it? Yeah, unfortunately, Jampot, I have already shown the 8X off. It's just sat over there, and I've got. I don't want to pick it up just yet because I'm gonna have to go wash my hands after this because I have got a little bit of the dielectric grease on my fingers. I don't want to ruin the finish before I've even used it. So let's put that on there. Oh, sorry, Glenn. I had to go shopping last night, and then again this morning, and ended up. Yeah, I mean, do you count as a panic buyer in that case that you've been to the shops like 3 times? I thought about this the other day. Is that me and my other half? We would normally go shopping maybe once a week, something like that. We've been to the shops like 4 times this week. Does that mean that we're panic buying stuff? Or panic shoppers at the very least? Or is it just the fact that the selection is just crap out there at the moment? I put it down to the selection being shit, but Swo says you've got plenty of farms around you folks, your folks' house, not to ask. Tend some chickens. Unfortunately, I have moved since then. I've moved to a slightly smaller tent. This one did not want to go in last time. I've moved out since she came over. Yeah, my parents have got it great. They've got a dairy down at the end of the down the road from them. They've got chickens and Jersey cows. So I mean, eggs and milk. I mean, they're most of the way to a caker at this point. Cake, pancakes probably. Yeah. Not to be taken out of context. Oh dear, oh dear. Who needs any food when you... Well, I mean, so that was one of the jokes that the guys at Sainsbury's made, was I said, I'm looking for some eggs. And he went, oh, we haven't got any of the normal eggs, we've got plenty of chocolate ones there. And I was like, yeah, that's hardly useful when I'm baking a cake. One thing I'm going to need the brush, the lube, and the stem holder. Been buying it because they have cotton wool for brains. It's regular buying stuff. I had to go again this morning to try and get. Wasn't there last night? Yeah, that's exactly what we've had. Is that we've just been struggling to actually get normal stuff. Like what was it that we were missing out on the other day? There was not like no chicken anywhere. We ran out of beef mince because we normally cook bolognese and lasagna, and yeah, no meat in Sainsbury's whatsoever the other day. So to give you guys an idea on what I'm doing here, I'm getting a what would be a very small amount on the end of the brush. Come on, there we go. Getting a very small amount on the end of the brush, and all I'm doing is just coating the. Oh, come on camera. I'm just coating the inside of the stab with a little bit of lube, and that's just going to give it a little bit better glide, get rid of that sort of rough texture, and hopefully allow the stabs to glide as smoothly as possible. It's not a guarantee. I mean, you could end up buying GMK stabs and they would be god awful at this point in time, but you could get lucky at the same time. Swo says, I've heard all the new I've heard all your news. Alright, seen some of the photos. Congrats! Oh, thank you very much. And tying the knot. Yes, I don't know if you noticed the the wedding ring there. A very lucky man. We got married last October, so yeah, very happy at the moment. And yeah, the house is coming together. Well, it's come together very, very nicely. Yeah, certain things that people don't tell you about with houses that are just, there's just so much to do. I can see why people call them money pits as well. You can end up putting lots of money into a house. Ben says you got married, don't remember that. Well, the only reason that Ben doesn't remember that was because he was absolutely hammered at the wedding. He was absolutely hammered. It was great to see how much he'd managed to drink at the end of the night. It was... Hey Jay, how you doing? Jay, this is Mr. J from Top Clack, one of the moderators on MK UK. I should say Bledden is also one of the moderators, so if I do screw up and say something badly about them, I'm likely to get banned in seconds. So Bledden says, same, no chicken in Morrison's, Co-op or Tesco around here. I've had to get up at 6:30 in the morning to get to the Morrison's for the open at 7 AM to pick up the parts that we couldn't get last night. Yeah, I mean, Becca, it really sucks that they're running low on certain stuff like that. It's just nuts. But yeah, it's been mad. I mean, Becca got up the other day and she went down to Sainsbury's, and unfortunately she had to do it before work, and she managed to catch that hour, which is the elderly hour, and so she wasn't able to do the shop that day. But I went down earlier today, nothing. We both went down to Sainsbury's a couple of days ago, nothing there. It has just been nuts. It has really been nuts. Apparently, according to the lady in the co-op, there was a fist fight in Sainsbury's the other day over some loo rolls. So, police got called over two guys fighting over loo rolls. So, mad. All right, so that's the stabs done. Not seconds. Forgot vendor from my list of accomplishments. Sorry, yes, he's the he is Jay is also a vendor. Protypist, is it? I protypist. I post it in the chat. You might not be able to post the link because you might end up getting muted by the bot, but post the name of it, and I have got the bot set up, so yes, there we go. Prototypist.net. So, what stuff do you sell on there, Jay? Tell us about it, because I know that you do sell some rather nice carbon fibre plates, which I still need to have a chat to you about for a potential project in the future. Oh, you gave me a shout out on Top Clack as well. Oh. Oh, on the Top Clack Discord. Oh, I see. Come on. These little screws for these stabs just do not want to go in today. Oh! Oh, my thing isn't set up. What? My alert box isn't set up. But hi, Gio. Thank you very much for the follow. And Sinestris, thank you very much for the follow 37 minutes ago. For some reason, my alert box isn't set up, but I'll try and give you guys a shout. Hi, Gio. welcome to my stream. I'm doing very well, thank you. Very well. How about yourself? So let's take the plate out of here. Okay. So in the pack that Fleeceman sent me, and I assume that this was an option, or I don't know if it was standard, to be fair, but this is the brass plate. So it has been cut using the AIO 3 KB, is it? It's written on here, kb.ai03.me. I assume that it's built using their plate builder, but this is the stock plate that comes with it. So it's got a matte finish, but it's almost like a coated matte finish, if that makes sense, because I can rub my fingers on here and it doesn't tarnish the surface like a sort of a normal raw finish would. I have ruined plates in the past by touching them like this and then leaving like sort of brownish fingerprint marks on there. So Jay asks, well, to be fair, I should let you guys all know what the spec of the build is today. So I will show it off once again. So we are building a KBD AX2, and it's this silver boy here. He's rather heavy. So this is my KBD 8X2. I bought it off of Fleeceman the other day, as I've sold a couple of my boards. You can see here. Beautifully anodized. I decided to get it as soon as he posted it up in silver. It was one of those moments where it's like, I must have this board. So sent him a message and bought it off him pretty much straight away. And so we've got the KBD AX2 with the brass plate. I'm just building the PCB up at the moment, but the interesting bit is the switches. So I mentioned it at the very beginning of this, but these are NovelKeys Creams switches, the original, the very first versions of them. I bought them way back, never ended up using them for anything. I didn't really like the feel. It was a bit strange. Sorry, the music has stopped. Let me get the music playing again. Yes, I'm still listening. So what I've done with these is these are all individually broken in. So this is the long part of this build, and it's why this sort of build hasn't come around anytime sooner, is each cream switch has gotten 20 minutes of just straight pressing, angle pressing, side pressing, everything. I've been just trying to break them in just whilst I watch TV, what have you. So each switch gets 20 minutes of break-in time, and that's just a standard cream switch, unlubed. I should also mention, actually, I ultrasonically cleaned every single one of these beforehand, and then they've had the 20 minutes of break-in time, and after the 20 minutes of break-in time, I've given them some lube. I've swapped the springs out, so I'm using 72p springs. And it's really helped. They really do glide quite nicely. And from there, I managed to get some UHMWPE Stems, and I put them into these. And I'm going to give them a try out. They feel a lot smoother than the stock stems. The stock stems are behind me somewhere in there, so I've still got them if I do need to go back on them eventually. But I'm going to give these a try out. But at the moment, they feel excellent. They've got a really nice feel to them. Really smooth. I got to try the CU65 out for a very short time the other day, and I put these into them just to give them a quick try, and they felt really, really nice. So I'm going to build them into this today, and that's going to be the build. And then I've got a choice of a couple of keycap sets somewhere to go onto this board. So the PCB is done. You can see my fingers have got all sorts of lube all over them now, but we'll carry on from there. So we're going to get the plate positioned over the top, and we're going to get a couple of switches popped in. There we go. Would you say it's matte or matte? Matte or matte? We'll go for matte. at, there you go. I need you to say it like that. I'm typing on them, but they don't need to get used to. Sound is amazing. A lot of people really do love the cream sound. That sort of not the leathery sound is what I'm thinking of, but that sort of vintage cherry-esque sound that you get from them. A lot of people like that because they're just better vintage cherry switches, pretty much. That's what I found. Unfortunately for me, I'm not a massive fan of vintage cherry. I've given them a try a couple of times, but not really that much of a fan. Chronoman Art 27 asks, what is the price on that? So the price on the keyboard or the switches themselves? Because I bought the switches from NovelKeys, and I used the top clack code as well to get a little bit of money off and hopefully a little bit of kickback for Jay. The keyboard. So the keyboard cost me 315 in plus, no, 315 including delivery, and that included the PayPal fee as well. So not cheap, but also not the most expensive out there. And I would say it's not bad for for one of these boards. I think that is pretty much group buy price that he sold it to me for, because I did have on order way back, which I looked at when I was buying this, was the polycarbonate version, and I had a polycarbonate one. I'm gonna have to pop this up a little bit. Come on. Top half is moving away. Great price for what you get, in my opinion. Yeah, it is an excellent price. I mean, I can't deny that it's a very, very good price from for a board that is very weighty and very well built overall. I was very surprised with the build quality. It was a lot better than I was expecting it to be. An awful lot better than I was expecting it to be. I have owned the KBD8X1, and I sold that a little while ago. I wasn't as keen on the build quality of that as I am this. This has got a lot better build quality. So I'm just going to pop a couple of switches in across the board here. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just shore up the plate so it's not going to move about too much. That's my main concern here. Yeah, I mean, if for instance KBDFans were to do another one of these, I definitely would be down for a polycarbonate one. I was really disappointed that I actually left it. I ended up selling my polycarbonate one to Dan, who's one of the other moderators on MK UK. I sold mine to him, and literally the only reason that I sold it was because there was huge delays with the board, and I decided to jump onto the C cubed the C cubed 0.9. I ended up buying that, and unfortunately that's been delayed even further than the Polycarb 8X, so I sort of shot myself on the foot. Yes, there you go. The C3 equals 0.9. It's ZER 0.9. That's it. That's the actual naming of it. I bought the polycarbonate one that they were selling. But yeah, shot myself completely in the foot, seeing as the first one that they were trying to do, he sent all of the money to the machine shop, and they did a runner with his money, and so he's been trying to get things sorted, and obviously the coronavirus in China has disrupted all of his work. He's gotten back to work last week, but the machine shop that he was using weren't quite back. They had minimal people there, all of this, so I'm glad that he's safe, but it's been an absolute nightmare. Ray from C3 C Cubed, absolutely lovely guy. If you go onto his Discord, he's chatting all of the time, giving people updates and and sometimes very crude jokes, which is always hilarious to see. Sort of the Chinese to English translated jokes. So, what do other people have in store for their boards that they're going to be building? What have other people got to be built? Jay, have you got a stream this weekend? Stainless steel and chrome IDB 60. Is this the IDB that you brought to the Bristol meetup? The one that was absolutely beautiful and weighed a ton. I mean, more than this board by like 50% more. It was silly. Yeah, that shiny boy. Yeah, that was nutty. It was so heavy though. I don't know how to explain it to you guys, but when you get handed something this big, it's smaller than a loaf of bread, but weighs sort of, I don't know how to explain it really. Inordinate amounts. I mean, double the weight of this. You just hold it and you drop. It's just so heavy. What's the actual weight on that thing? We're going to turn the iron down a little bit. I was been desoldering at 320 recently. Bases alone 2.3 kilograms for a 60%, which is silly. That's a silly high weight. These away a minute. Yeah, for a 60% with no weight, brass weight, it is heavy. Okay, let's just make sure all of these switches are in nicely. They looked and sounded like they popped in quite nicely, so we're just going to double check. There is an awful lot more flex than I was expecting with this. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you very easily, but this is me just lightly pressing on the middle, and it's giving quite a lot of flex to it. So I'm interested to see how this is going to work out, really. Chronoman asks, do you prefer creams to black inks? Tough one, really. I do prefer black inks to creams. And unfortunately, I sold my Satisfaction 75, which had my black inks in them. So using some of the money from the sale of that to buy this, I've also bought some new black inks. So I managed to get some black inks from KBDFans. So Chronoman, what do you prefer? What do you prefer? Have you tried both out? I think there's a big hype bubble around creams at the moment, seeing as Tifu's board's got creams in it, hasn't it? So I think there's quite a large hype bubble around them at the moment. I think a lot of people will really like them, but I also think a lot of people are going to try them and then realise that stock they aren't as nice as other switches. They're not as smooth. What's other people's choice opinions on switches? What switches do you guys like? I've only tried inks, but might go ahead and get a few creams to try them out. Well, if you want to try a couple of creams, I have some creams, some spare ones, which I'm happy to send to you. I might even be able to put a UHMWPE stem into one of them, so you can try it. I'm not going to spend 20 minutes breaking it in though, so you can do that if you'd like. I'm going to leave this bottom row to sort the bottom row out until I can get some caps on this, because I have the amount of times that I've messed up the bottom row is incredible at this point. This PCB that they've made for this is really nice. It's got a nice matte finish to it. I'm going to have to give it a nice clean afterwards to get rid of my mucky fingerprints off of it. So I'm literally just going around the board quickly, just to get these sort of tacked down as such, so that the plate's not going to move around too much when I do decide to put the rest of the switches in. I know Bledden had a favourite switch, which was like a combo of switches, Gateron black with, what was it now? It was a Gateron black combo, if I remember rightly. I desoldered one of his. I think I desoldered one of them, or I swapped the plates over on one of his boards, and he had this combination. It was really nice, actually, really smooth. Swore by the combination though of the switch. Might have been a vintage black and a Gateron black has, possibly. I can't remember now. If Bledden's in the chat, he'll probably not want to give it up, to be fair, but with enough peer pressure, we might be able to get him to give it up. So I'm just going to go around the board nice and slowly here. Just get these in place so that the board's not going to move around too much. So how's everybody enjoying self-isolation so far? I mean, I'm sure there's a few guys in here who are from mainland Europe. How are you guys finding it over there? Hope you're all safe. Now, if Swo's still there, how are you guys finding it? I mean, your pub's shut earlier this week. Loving it. Poker traffic has increased dramatically, really. Oh, I guess online poker, yeah. I guess, yeah. I guess you're absolutely loving it. Fairly used to working from home, so pretty much okay. I think the government announcement today for the UK were good. Yeah, I agree. I fully agree. The announcements that they made today were really good. I did see the announcement of the pubs closing tonight, so that'll be interesting. Fox, literally zero enforcement in Sweden. Jeez, okay. I haven't really seen many press articles about Sweden. I've more seen stuff from obviously the craziness that's happening in Italy at the moment, and a little bit of stuff from Belgium, funnily enough. Yeah, that's it. So Ben, is the lucky PC still going well for you? That's the question. Has it continued to be lucky? Ha 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 ha! That was still really bloody hot. Oh. Touch the corner of the board and accidentally touch the switch that I just done. That was stupid. Yeah, all poker sites have had increased traffic. Not as lucky as it was on the first day, but still good. I mean, your first day was very, very good. I would only hope for days like that. Sweden wants to stay low key with their policies, of course. Being praised as the best have gone to their heads. Yeah. Third degree burns my Chris. And cracks on the Darwin moment. Try holding it like a pen. Yeah, no, it was literally did that one there, and I just decided to turn it with my hand there. It's not burnt me at all, but one of those silly moments where it's just a little bit warm. All right, what I'm going to do is I think I've got enough down there now for it to not move about, and so I'm just going to get the rest of the layout completed. And we're going to get all of the switches down and in. This plate is, let's pour some of these out so I've got easier access to them. This F-row is very, very tight. Needs a little bit more force than normal. Bled, do I buy a Nintendo Switch? I soldered my last board and ended up having to use the tiny bit left at the end. Burnt my finger due to how hot the solder. I've done that. Where you get to that like the last little bit and you just don't want to get the next spool out and you burn your finger because of it. Yeah, I've done that. Yes. The other one that I've actually done is desoldering. You pop the desoldering gun, and because you're in that rhythm of getting through it, you try and pull the solder out, the desolder at the end of the SSO2 that I've got, and burnt my finger on that. That was painful. Just wasn't ready for it to still be hot, but I'd just gotten into that rhythm, and yeah, again, stupid. Fox asks, are the creams lubed? Yes, these are lubed. So these I'll just say again, these are lubed with 205 grade 0, and they have got UHMWPE stems inside them. Feeling very smooth. Ooh. They do feel nice. They're extremely smooth. I've actually got some more UHMWPE stems on the way. I bought them off of Possidua. I can't think of what his name is. I can't say it either. Guy in the Top Clap Discord. I think he's there quite a lot, but he's in the EU one as well, the MK UK one a fair bit. But he had some spare ones. Pushua. Yes, that's the guy. That's him. Yeah, he had some. Leftover UHMWPE stems, and so I bought them off of him, and I'm going to be putting them into some inks when they get here. And so I'm going to build those, and I've got the 0.9, the one that we said about earlier, coming, and so I'm going to build that with those. So Sinestris, these aren't factory stock. These are, so I'll go over one more time. So these are these have been taken apart. They've been ultrasonically cleaned to get rid of the factory lube, anything like that off of it. They've then been put back together, and they've been given 20 minutes each to be broken in, just hand breaking. That's just sitting there pressing like this, off angle presses, just making sure pushing to one side. They each get 20 minutes. So that works out to be, across for the whole board of this, 28 hours of switch pressing. So I've done this whilst I've been watching YouTube, sat there at home watching stuff on Netflix. It's taken a long time. And then they've been lubed with 205 grade 0. And after being lubed with 205 grade 0, I then decided that the UHMWPE stems were going to go in, so I've used those. And I've swapped the springs out as well. So I have got 72p, so I've got 72 progressive springs by Sprit in here. And they're Sprit are my go-to springs. So, and those springs have been lubed with a 105, 105 in here, GPL 105. Well, I found that breaking them in a little bit, I found breaking them in a little bit really helped the switch out. In just 20 minutes of just straight pressing, the switch goes from having these weird sort of moments of that it feels like it's almost lagging a little bit. I think it's that leathery feeling that people said about, where it almost feels like it's like rubbing. It's that sort of like that sort of feel where it like drags a little bit. It gets rid of that feeling entirely, and you get a super smooth switch that continues to have a similar sort of sound profile to a normal cream. It just smooths it out a little bit, and so I did that. I worked. I think it was actually about 15 minutes that I thought that it took, but I thought give it a little bit extra time because some took a little bit more than others. So everyone's gotten 20 minutes each, and that gives. And I've been doing that for a long time now. Whenever I'm sat at home just watching a little bit of YouTube, I'll just sit there, just sort of like, and then just twist it round. Make sure that it rubs against the. You can feel it rubbing against the leaf. You're sort of pushing it in the direction of the leaf. As long as you give it a good amount of time, just going, it really helped. I thought it really helped to switch out. And so the other thing that I've got in here that I don't know if I showed you guys is I'm a big fan of lock switches, and so it took me a while to find these because they are just silly to find. But I've got two Cherry MX lock switches, so And these have been swapped out, so these have been lubed with 205 grade 0 as normal, but they've also got 180 gram springs in them, so I have to 100% press them to make sure that I get the locking switch done. So creams are great, but breaking them in is painful. Yeah, I can agree to that. I can agree to that. I just bought the new creams, so wanted to see what to do with them. I would say giving them a little bit of lube, great idea. I use 205, but you could use 3204, something similar to that. That would give them a really nice smooth feel. If you wanted to keep a little bit more of the feel of like a stock cream, you could go for a lighter lube, like a, I don't know, maybe like a 103 or 104, something like that. You'd probably be good. Spring doesn't really make that much of a difference, but if you want to go down the whole realm of like wanting like as good as you can get, ultrasonically cleaning them is probably a good idea. Get rid of the stock lube that they put on from the factory, and then put your own on top, own on there from there. I would say break them in. I mean, you could break, if you've got a hot swap board, put them in stock, break them in, pull them all, give them a cycle round so that it's not just the hot spots that are getting it, and then yeah, break them in. And it really does help the switch out. It makes them feel a lot better. 205 grade 0 is the plan. Yeah, I mean, I tried them with the PTFE powder. As some people showed, pour like get a brush, put PTFE powder on it, and put them into the switches. For me, it didn't really work. I tried it with the mix of isopropyl alcohol as well, and again, that didn't really work. It ended up making them scratchier, and it also ended up covering my desk in like dust from it, because it's a messy process. You have to I did it on my desk initially, and then I realized put them into a Tupperware container and then do them in that. That would have probably been the better option. So I'd break them in first before lubing. Oh yeah, 100%. Break them in before lubing. The lube is only going to hinder that sort of break-in time. I thought removing the stock lube on these was an even better option for me. Remove the stock lube, break them in with no lube on them at all, then re-lube. That was my plan. Yeah, I agree with you, Vogon. Hot swap board for breaking in. That is going to be the plan for one of my boards coming up. Hot swap for breaking stuff in. Why do you not want to go in? There. I should have a couple of extra switches across the board overall. Making the first keyboard, not sure which switches to use for first, so it's all to be planned and done down the line. Oh, fair enough. I mean, the great thing about this community is that we are all IT minded, so you have a real ability to like go on to Keycaps, go on to the Discord, chat to people about these things. Obviously, watching people's streams like mine, or watching Jay's, for instance. Jay's probably a better streamer to watch than me. He streams an awful lot more regular than me. Asking those sort of people questions, people who are in the know about them, good place to start. But the one thing that I always reckon is getting a switch tester and just trialing switches, seeing what you like the feel of, because like if you're brand new to the keyboard community, you might try cherry browns, cherry blues, and cherry reds. Those switches are hugely different to what's out on the market out there. You put a cherry blue up against a box blue, the box blue is going to blow the cherry blue out of the water in regards to how tactile it is, how clicky it is, and the same goes with creams versus normal reds. It's a really different feel. When I first started in the community, I bought my first board and I used cherry as what was the gold standard for me. I wouldn't buy anything but cherry. So I bought cherry greens and cherry blues, and for me they were the best sounding switches on the market until I tried Gateron, and from that point it was, yeah, down the rabbit hole we went. Ghost Linears, Creams, Holy Pandas, Everglide, Crystal Violet. I was going to attend the meetup. Turn the soldering iron off for a minute, actually. I was going to attend the meetup to help make my way, but alas, yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it was one of the things that it was sort of inevitable that it was going to happen. The downside that we had, I say we had, Jay and the rest of the team had, was that the venue were just not budging. Obviously, they don't want to lose mass sums of money from people cancelling, but we were stuck in this sort of holding pen almost, holding circle of having to wait for the government to put more stringent methods out there to say, look, it's like, look, we can't actually go forward with the meetup. So they were all happy for us to come in on next Friday, but that would, in my eyes and Jay's eyes and all of the other moderators' eyes, that would have just been very irresponsible of us. I've seen, and to note, when you have no idea on mechanical, then even feeling difference from reds to browns is difficult for some. Yeah, it 100% is. I've seen that on people on the job, they can't feel the difference between linears and tactiles. I mean, browns are probably the least tactile out of them all. I mean, if you were to put the difference between, say, a Zelio and a brown against one another, I think you might be able to see a little bit more. I mean, Linus Tech Tips video really showed what people like the feel of, and to be fair, they did think it was browns more than anything else. So, but yeah, I mean, you put against I don't want to say a novice, but a newer person into the community, you put a brown against maybe a Holy Panda, and they might notice a little bit of difference, but it's not going to be the nuanced difference that some of us might notice. I need to bend some of the pins on these. Some of them aren't completely straight. Jay says, venue is still being annoying, to be honest. Oh wow. I mean, I can imagine with the latest stuff that's just literally come out today, I can imagine that they're gonna end up conceding an awful lot of stuff. I assume that they're going to have changed their stance this evening, to be fair. Okay, we've got a few switches left. So we're going winkeyless on this board. So we're gonna run. Where are you? So we've got the 7U spacebar, which is going to be flipped. This is just a random key set that this is my Solarised dark key set. They're all at the bottom there. There's one of them, and the other one is over there. The 2 control keys. I've tried 2 Razer keyboards, the green switch and the solid orange, from what they call it. The linear, the silent felt better in my opinion. I mean, if you like silenced linears, I mean, Razer aren't going to do bad stuff, but you might well want to have a look at a Helios by II PC. They're really nice. To be fair, the cherry silent red and the silent black are quite nice switches. Both could do with a little bit of lube. 205 grade 0 again. What other silence linears? I mean, you could go for a silence Gateron red. I think they do silent switches now, so you get something like that, or a silent ink. A silent ink would be quite nice option. So let's get this space bar sorted. So we're going to get a rough idea on where it goes. It goes into this right hand one, it looks like. Not a lot of support on this one. What colour material did you go for in the group buy? So I'm not a part of the group buy. I bought after the fact. Originally, when I joined the group buy, I had a polycarbonate with brass, with a brass plate. I ended up selling that one and regretted selling that one. And then for this one, I have got a silver aluminium with a brass plate, and so you can see the brass plate here. And it's looking rather tasty. But I've got a nice silver case, which I bought from Andy Fleeceman. Oh, bloody hell. Paul Vinus, welcome. Sorry I haven't got notifications set up, guys. For some reason, Streamlabs has been doing some weird stuff. And so it's removed all of my notification settings, all that sort of stuff. So if you Huey, what if I assume that you're in the group buy as well, or were in the group buy? What did you get? It's too far away. Perfect. Just put them back in the drawer. But one thing that I was surprised to see the other day. Do any of you guys watch Jay's 2 Cents? If you guys watch tech YouTubers like Jay's 2 Cents, I watched Jay's 2 Cents latest video, and he has chosen the exact same combo and the exact same style as that I'm using for this desk. So the real wood desk, then the little riser legs, the white Alex, and the grey wall as well for his new studio. I saw that and I was just like, all right, so somebody's been looking at my YouTube feed. I do need one more switch out of here because I cannot tell where the. I'm going to need a couple more switches actually. I'm going to need the shift to make sure. That's in place. I need the. Where are you? The 1.25U shift. That's the alt. There's the shift. Okay. Just to make sure that these are nicely in line. Hey, oh, it's Huey from MK UK. Oh, hey Huey, how you doing? No, didn't need that. I got a B stock unit that went up a week ago. There was still a few options left, but I got a PC top and a grey bottom. I can't tell if it's going to look good or not. I think that might look quite nice actually. The polycarbonate top is the thing that interested me the most. Was obviously it's a top mount, and so I was interested to see how the polycarbonate would be affected by that, and how it changed the sound profile. So you might have gotten the best of both worlds there, really. A nice thick base with a polycarbonate top to give it a nice sound. Okay. So I went for the nearer end one. So let's just put this cap up. The only reason that I'm doing it like this is so that I can get a rough idea whether the switch is centered or not. I want it sitting right at the very end. There we go. Alright, let's get the iron turned on and heating. Oh, come on, come on. Okay, let's put these back a minute. Just pop those off. Make sure they haven't popped up. So we've got one singular extra switch. That's all fine. So we'll move those on top of that. So we've got one singular extra switch. So I can't remember who it was in the chat earlier who was asking about it, but this will be your switch if you want it. As well as an extra cream, unless one of these ends up being a dud. I'm going to just give them a quick press on to make sure that there's no weird feeling ones, and if there is, I'll swap it out with that that's there. Cutting it fine there. It's because each switch takes 20 minutes to break in. I just couldn't be bothered to do any extra. If it is a case that there's more than one that's bad, I will just make up a couple of extra switches. I've got some more creams here. Cool. The only thing that I am slightly aware of is, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you this very easily, but this one here, that screw is sitting directly on top of one of the pads. So I don't know if it's actually touching, but if it is, I've got a rubber washer that will go into its place. I'm going to do all of that after the stream's finished because I have got to have some dinner tonight, but also I'm going to do all of the programming of this after the stream. PCB has been tested, all of the keys work, which I'm happy about, but it was just a case that I wanted to get it built on stream rather than going for a coding stream as well. Dinner, good point. Gonna order a curry. Oh, good lad. Gotta have that old British classic of chicken tikka. Yeah, I had a Subway earlier. Unfortunately, I had a Subway for lunch, and I should have given it some forethought because I can't do 2 takeout meals in one day. How spicy though? Hot enough that I'm gonna need. Yeah, use that massive stash of loo roll that you've got there, Jay. We all know he's been down there. 60 rolls of loo roll. Tandoori mixed grill is yeah, it is the way to go. Tandoori mixed grill and madras sauce, madras or vindaloo sauce. Ooh, that's. You got 9 rolls. Okay, it's less hoarderish. Okay, this is going together quite nicely. Come on. Significantly more keyboards than loo rolls. Well, when the loo roll runs out, though, those 40% can be used. Gotta make use of them somehow. I mean, but the greatest curry combo has to be. It's got to be chicken madras, chicken boona, or danzak. It all depends on what sort of thing you're feeling. Pilau rice, sagaloo, and then a kimanon, any naan. The Karari, yep, yes, yeah, Karari chicken is an excellent choice. Oh, well, pakora is a weird one. I only tried pakora for the first time when I first started going up to Glasgow, and we don't really have pakora hasn't really taken off down here that much. But the further north you go, you guys seem to love anything that's thrown in batter, really. Better batter and oil, making anything taste good. Well, I know about the guys up in Scotland. I mean, deep fried Mars bars, deep fried. I think one of the ones near to where I work had done a deep fried Greg's pasty, so. I have heard that deep fried Mars bar is actually meant to be really good, but I don't particularly want to take like 2 years off my life, really, or have to end up running it off for the next 2 weeks. Yeah, nah, running is a fool's game. Running is a fool's game, I'll tell you that now. Unless it's to the chili. Yeah, no, the only running that I do is get in the car running in the morning. I'm saying that I don't even get the car running in the morning saying that. Work from home. running the car engine counts. Yeah, I ran for 20 miles this morning. Yeah, to and from work. Alright, this is coming together quite nicely now. I'm taking my time on the solder of these because the solder pads that are here are a little bit smaller than I'm used to. They're quite thin solder pads. The actual holes for the legs of the switch are quite thin. I'm surprised that I haven't mashed more of them. Oh, music stopped again. Oh. Just make sure that's right. Is the II PCB standard thickness? Yes, it is. But the one thing that you'll notice, Huey, is there is a cut here and a cut here. And so I'm assuming that the cut is there for relief, to be able to give a bit more flex of the PCB. And you can, when you press these middle ones, you can feel a little bit more flex. I mean, when I looked at it originally, I didn't think that it was going to give that much flex because you're just putting it on a brass plate. If you use like a polycarbonate plate or a FR4 plate, you're going to get way more flex in that middle section. Have you chosen the plate that you're going to be using for this, Huey? I assume that you're just going for the. I was thinking about a flexi build. Might get a fixed plate cut. That'd be really nice if you get a fixed plate cut. I do know somebody that makes carbon fibre plates. And he happens to be in the UK community. It's uncanny that you're in the UK and he's in the UK, and I think he sometimes is in this stream. Sometimes. He does these group buys for them. I think probably Polycarb is a nice halfway house between going full flex like FR4 or polycarbonate, carbon fibre. I'm trying to say carbon fibre. Carbon fibre is probably a good point between polycarbonate and brass. You get an extra amount of a little bit of extra flex, still relatively rigid, and it also is sometimes, for some people, a better sound than brass. I really do like the that brass. When you bottom out a switch on brass, I really love that sound. Here he's middle class. Oof. Alright, has the music stopped this time? Has it actually stopped this time? Yes, it has. Or start. We've listened to the playlist, so we'll just start the playlist again. There we go. I've got carbon fibre plate in the board right there, which has got some linears in it. So that's the Borsdorf that I've got with some SKCL Yellow Alps, and that feels really nice with a carbon fibre plate. Alright, we're coming up to halfway, guys. No bent pins so far, which is good. So with this 8X, are you still waiting for it from KBDFans, or is it, have you bought a spot from somebody else? Or did you go to Way and just literally ask? I've done that in the past with Way, and he's at times let me into group buys late. So obviously we were talking about the meetup earlier today, but for those of you who are actually thinking about coming to the meetup, obviously we've had to change the date. But if you haven't already, please go look at the Discord. There is an announcement on the MK UK Discord for the date change. There's 2 proposed dates, and you've got 24 hours from when the post was made to put your vote in for when you would like to see it. It's likely going to be in the same location because we've been chatting to the venue, but you've got a little bit of control on which date you would like to see. So if you haven't already, go vote to have your say on which of the 2 dates you prefer. That's your boy. Jay has got the link there. So guys, please press the link. Go vote in the straw poll for which date you would prefer. And obviously, if you're not bothered either way, there's no worry on not voting. There's been quite a lot of people vote, but I'd love to hear your opinion either way. $62 to $61. So I mean, your vote really does count. We don't want to see a 51-49 split like we have done in the past. We want to see a decent split. So come on, guys. And I've already voted. My vote is already in there. I'm not going to say which way I voted. I don't want to sway one way or the other. It's completely up to you guys. I'm free for both, but I know which one that I'd prefer, and I'm looking forward to the meetup either way. One thing that I will be bringing along to the meetup for anybody that is a novice that is getting into keyboards, wants to try some switches out, I will have my big switch tester coming along with me. And so, give me 1 second, I'll show you guys there. I've nearly finished it now, nearly finished it. There is 1 switch remaining. So this will be coming to the meter. I can show you on here on the main camera. So these are my switches. So I've got pretty much all Alps variants, all standard Alps variants I should say. For some reason one of my switches is pushing against the PCB a bit. But I've got most of the Alps variants here. I've got most of the major MX variants. I mean, there's going to be a few outliers there. I mean, I've got unlubed lube inks. I've got there's a Nixie there. You've got Zilio V1s, V2s, the original Cherry lineup. Oh, sorry, there is 2 switches. I've got 98 switches total. So I can't remember what was in this one now. There's a Gateron of some sort that's missing there. So I've got to find a Gateron, and then there's 1 extra switch there. So this will be coming to the meetup. So if you guys want to try it out at the meetup, you're more than welcome. I'm gonna try and I want to have a chat to Way at KBDFans to see if he's able to do you know, he sells those switch tester sets, and it comes with the nice little, this is a Gateron red or whatever written on the top. I want to have a chat to him to see if he's if they're able to do custom keycaps, because I know that they're die subbed and they're relatively cheap. Be interested to see if I can actually get some caps for it, so that people don't have to just press on bare switches, or otherwise I'm going to have to get a bunch of DSA or a bunch of blanks. Albeit I did have a whole bunch of OEM profile blanks a little while ago. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there'll be a company out there that can do it for me. I mean, even if I have to go to MaxKeys, for instance, I'll go to MaxKeys and go get just or what's the one in America? The one that does the pad printing. There's MaxKeys and the other one. I can't think of the pad printed ones now. Very famous company though. No, it's not Signature Plastics. It's going to wind me up if I don't look for it now. Custom keycaps. WSD keyboards, of course. WSD keyboards. So WSD keyboards, you can choose keycap color and then what pad printing you want to go on top. So I might well just ask them if they can do a whole bunch of pad printed ones, because I mean they're not going to get used like loads, so the pad printing isn't going to be diminished. The only thing that will be a bit of a bummer for it is that it's not going to be the greatest thickness. They're not renowned for having super thick keycaps. Nearly done soldering now. We've got a little bit more than a row to go. How is everybody enjoyed their week there so far? Are you looking forward to the weekend? Finally be weekend of self-isolation as well. To be fair, me and my other half, we're going to go for a nice walk over the weekend. Keep keep that social distancing going. Go for a nice walk in the woods or something. It's not absolutely pouring it down. Okay, we're nearly there. Dog is loving it, having me and my wife at home all day. I mean, yeah, dogs must absolutely love it. They're always waiting for their owners to come home. He's been out on lots of walks then. Oh, Becca's making something in the kitchen. Might have been able to hear it from that clatter on the clatter of something falling over. A romantic walk 2 meters apart, yeah. Yeah, keep the distance. We did 9 miles at lunch this week. Oh, nice. There's a couple of switches that I've missed pads out on here, and the only reason I've missed the pads out on them is because they are extremely close to the LEDs, and I do not want the iron just accidentally tapping the LEDs at all. I'm just absolutely destroying the LED itself. These what are they? WS 0802s, are they? WS 0802s, the RGB LEDs that you get for these things. I don't want it. They don't deal with heat particularly well, and so literally like tapping one with a soldering iron might end up killing it. I wouldn't want to do that to this nice PCB. Okay. Let's just give a quick eye across the board. Got to shoot for dinner. Please post pics at finished build. DM's open. Yeah, so guys, DMJ, if you do want a carbon fibre plate cutting, he does. He's the guy that does the carbon fibre plates, as much as we joked earlier. He's on the UK Discord, and he's also on the Top Clack Discord. So do send him a message if you want something like that cutting. But either way, have a nice dinner and stay safe, Joe. Yep, that looks all good. Give it a quick eye over. So let's just make sure none of these feel weird. They're all feeling really, really smooth. First one. That one's extremely smooth, Jesus. It's like smoothness on steroids. Oh no, it's broken. How did you get your hands on UHMWPE stems? I managed to buy them off of a guy in the US for what he bought them for. And I've also just bought some off of Postua. I've also bought some off of him as well for my inks. But if you are interested in finding some, have a chat to I'm forgetting his name, Lewis. Have a chat to Lewis. Lewis has actually got some that he's thinking about selling. Okay, that feels all good. The only one that felt a little bit off was that feels fine actually. I think it was just the top was a little bit weird. Okay, let's move the iron over there so it's out of the way a bit more. We no longer need you or you. I might well put some LEDs in this another time, but that might end up turning this into a 5-hour build stream rather than a what should have only been 2 hours, ended up being quite a lot more because of technical difficulties. Okay. So in my board, I am going to be using the foam pad. So this is going to go underneath my PCB. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to get the case out. So Huey, you haven't seen this yet, but this is the case. So this is the lovely silver that I've gotten. I'm going to grab this piece of foam and sit it on this piece of foam so we don't damage it at all. It is meaty. Okay. So we're going to need to take it apart. I've just literally just put this away in here. Keep doing that this evening. Pulled a muscle in my arm earlier and it keeps flaring up. Okay. So it uses a hex head. I'm not going to use the one that they supplied because I've got my own kit. Too small. Just right. Yeah, a muscle in my arm. It's not really pulled it. It's like right there. It's like I've caught something. It's not a nice feeling. And no, it's not what you're thinking. Before you even ask, it was carrying shopping bags. On to the top. Jumping screw. Okay, so this should be the last screw that I need out. Okay. And so what this should do is this should give us access. Just pull it apart. This should give us access to the internals. Bloody hell, this section is very heavy. Awkwardly heavy. So this gives us access to the insides. So this is what it looks like on the insides. So you can see, if I hold it properly, so you can see you've got these little mounting points here, and what they've given us in here is they've given us a bunch of little rubber O-rings. I don't know if you guys can see those very well. Come on, there you go. So you got some little rubber O-rings, and so these act as almost like a burger mount. Well, they do act as a burger mount, and so it just isolates the plate a little bit. So I'm going to lay that in there, grab the plate. So what I'm going to just do is I'm going to put these in place, these little rubber bits in place. No one was implying anything, you're the one with the dirty mud. What were you implying that I was thinking of? I didn't say that, I didn't say anything. Come on, come on. They're all stuck to the inside of the bag. Come on. I've got one at least. Oh no, there is a second one there. Oh no, there's a double one. So it's like stuck together. So I need 8 of these total. Alright, come out. I assume that I might be able to use a few of these as O-rings on the PCB if there is a grounding issue. Half body chest. These O-rings are the bane of my existence. Yeah, I mean, I had to use these for the Satisfaction 75 and they were a pain in the arse. And the annoying thing for this, the Satisfaction 75, was that he only supplied enough, exactly enough for the board. So if one fell out whilst you were doing it and lost forever because these things were tiny and see-through, yeah, you were kind of screwed. You ended up posting up a link on where you could find more. Alright, they look about centered to me. The 16 screw threads. I can't remember how many there were now. There was definitely more than this. There was definitely more than 8. There might have been 12. Bloody hell! That's a very tight fitting. A very tight fit in there. I wasn't expecting it to be quite that tight. The plate has got a very, very thin line of like fit to it there. So we've got some nice little gold screws. Hopefully they're going to be magnetic. I'm not going to have to fiddle about with this too much. Are they magnetic? Yes, they are. I love it when manufacturers use magnetic, at least magnetic screws. It is, now that's the bane of my existence when manufacturers don't use magnetic screws. Oh my god, does that annoy me. The amount of times that I've lost non-magnetic screws in between a 60% plate and PCB, it's annoying even remembering that. So just going to do the 4 outer corners to begin with, and then we're going to do the rest from there. Shit on it. There is 5 across the bottom here. I've missed one out. I just didn't notice. Me being dim. Oh, please don't do this. Because of the downwards pressure, they're all sticking to the. They're all sticking to it as well. Be very careful with this. That one stayed in. That one stayed in. Because of the downwards pressure that's been put onto them. This is the suffering I signed up for. Yeah, this is the sort of suffering that I absolutely hate. Okay, that's all of them. Alright, so the screws can stay in there because that doesn't matter too much, they're in place. So that's fine. We just need one extra rubber washer. Rubber O-ring. Funny enough, I've got bundles of these little O-rings. Okay. I only just noticed at the last second there was 5 across the bottom row. Okay. Getting there nicely. Okay. Oh, caught my finger between the PCB, between the case and the plate. Pinching my skin. Some of the screws are already in, so it's not going to take too long to do this up. What are you saying here? So, I think he did to avoid having to screw in close to the spacebar. Tripped up a lot of people. Yeah. It is a weird plate design, I have to admit that. It's a strange plate design, having a hole beneath the space where the spacebar switch is. I assume that that's all down to this idea of that he wants more flex. I can only assume that, really, which I'm all up for. The more flex for linears, the better, really. Strange that they give you extra screws for the case, but they don't give you extra screws for the plate mounting. A very tight fitting board so far, though. The tolerances between the plate and the case, like where the screws go in, very, very tight. Tighten these up nicely. That's very loose. tight. Okay, that's all tightened up. We don't need the hex head anymore. So I am going to be using this rubber matting. Oh, yeah, it's heavy. So you guys can see that's how the rubber matting sits in there. Just see, it just sits in nicely. So that's gonna, I think that's the right way around. I assume that it's the right way around. Let's have a look. No, maybe it makes more sense going that way around. Like that. There you go. So we've got access to the switch here. We've also got access to the reset switch and whatever this is. And it doesn't hide any of the LEDs. So let's give that a try. In fact, I'm going to do it the other way. Get this back up there a second. So that has to go this way around because it fits much cleaner like this than the other way. So you guys can have a little bit of a sneak peek of what it's going to look like in a minute when I get all of this put together. Okay, let's flip her upside down. Use the big flipper. Okay, and now this one, isn't it? Yep. Just going to give it a few turns on each, and then we'll do a few more as we go round. Looking forward to actually typing on this board tonight. And then hopefully not cursing out Inver for making shitty stems. That's what my biggest hope is. No, I joke. I'm actually really interested on how these are going to feel. Putting them into a board the other day, I was really surprised on how nice they felt. How they had this real smoothness to them. So I'm interested on seeing that. One of the screws is trying to make an escape. Sorry, I missed what you said. Personally, I like it. My bet is it will reduce the transfer from the space to the plate. Yeah, I assume that it is going to reduce the sound. Albeit I'm not sure, I'm really not sure how more flex is going to feel really. If it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. I've only ever tried a few flexi boards, and the people who've made them have either made them stupidly flexi or not that flexi. Like, they've just added a tiny amount. This is somewhere in the middle of that. Okay, it's looking good. Tighten all of these up nicely now. Give that back. Okay, so the keycap set, as you guys have seen already, that I'm going to try on this is Solarised Dark. I think Solarised Dark is going to look the best on this. I think that's going to be the best look with silver. But this is the board at the moment. It's getting heavier and heavier. So here we go. So that's it, looking quite good there. This will be the thumbnail. And that's the KBDFans 8X on the back. it's chonky. It's very chonky. Okay, so let's get some caps. So the other option that I've got is GMK 9009. I could always put 909 on it, but that might be. Ooh, that's smooth. I think I'm going to stick with Solarised Dark. I think I'll stick with Solarised Dark. Obviously, like any of my other streams, I will do a full typing test at the end of the video, at the end of the stream, so do stick around for that. And I am one of the flipped spacebar heathens you all know, you all love. That sounds pretty nice, actually. Have to look at my other board to be able to. Silver does work with anything. I think it'll look really nice with Solarised Dark, though. That's my thought, at least. But I have got 9009 as a backup. If it doesn't look as good as I think, but right now this is looking exactly the way that I wanted it to look. 4 keys in. Put that up there. I will go over one more time exactly what this board has got in it. I've said it a few times in the stream so far, but for anybody that has joined late, I will go over exactly what is in this board in a minute. As an awful lot of work has actually gone into the building of this board, building up the switches mainly. Now. It's funny, some of the stems that I think they've got a bit of some bad tolerances, because some of the stems, I can pull it off like that, but like this one, like it really, it really have to give it a good yank to pull up. So I think the tops for some of them, I think some people have had very different experiences than I have with these. So, some people have just, I think Procedure has literally just binned swathes of these. I had 5 or 6 that were bad. that they sell them in 110, lots of 110. Luckily, if there is a big problem, I have got a spare one, so. Stuff in the bottom of the queue. Last few caps now. And the old key. Alright, that's enough pressing. Let's show you guys this off. So, here we go. Let's give it a nice shot. So this is the board finished. So this is the KBDFans ATEX 2 Mark II, and it's got GMK Solarised dark on it. I'm really happy with the look. That's the weight again. Got a nice weight on it. And so to go over one last time exactly the spec that is in this keyboard. So KBDFans ATEX 2, it's got an aluminium, full aluminium case with a brass plate. I'm then using cream switches that have got that have been ultrasonically cleaned and then broken in for 20 minutes each, totaling 28 hours of break-in time for all of the switches in this board except for the two lock switches. These are creams, NovelKeys Creams. They've been broken in for that time and then they've been lubed with 205 grade 0. The stems have been replaced with UHMWPE Stems, and the springs have been swapped to Sprit 72 progressive springs. Then I've got two lock switches. That one did not very well. I've got two lock switches, and they are using 180 gram Sprit springs, just for these lock switches, and they've been lubed with 205 grade 0. What else is on here really? That's it. And this is the board, finished and done. It's using Zeal stabs, I should say, and that's been lubed with dielectric grease, and it's been band-aid modded as well. But let's move some bits and pieces out of the way. Let's get my wrist rest. Move this board back a little bit. Grab my wrist rest, and we are going to just do a quick typing test. So let's mute the desktop audio. So you guys should just be able to hear me. We're going to pull the microphone down and in. So the microphone is what? 2 hand lengths apart away from it. There you go. 2 hand lengths away from it. Cool. So let's move it back. There you go. So There you go, guys. So what did you guys think of that? Nice sound to it overall. I'm really liking it. Yeah, overall I'm very happy with that. Just feeling it. Is there a difference between gold sprit springs and normal sprit springs? Barely any, no. He reckons that there is a tiny amount of difference. They add a tiny amount of weight. We're talking well under sort of a gram of difference. Obviously plating them is going to make them a little bit stiffer, but overall he reckons under a gram of difference. So no, barely any. I just choose gold sprit springs simply because I like the idea of having gold in there. Personal preference. Yeah, really happy with that. Alright, well guys, that's going to conclude my stream for today. I'm glad that you all could come along and watch for the 2 hours and 24 minutes that we've been live. And I'm glad that you got to view this. I don't stream that often. I stream when I get boards in, and if you decide that you want a board building and perhaps you don't want to build it yourself, I'm more than happy to do requests on builds. So just slide into my DMs on Discord. I'm on the MK UK Discord the most, but I am on other Discords. I'm on the Top Clat Discord. I'm on a bunch of other Discords. So just drop me a PM if you see me about. I'm more than happy to answer questions if you've got any questions. That is, I don't mind being a sanding board. I don't mind people asking me a bunch of questions if you're new to the hobby and you just want to find out some more details. But if you have got a build in mind, send it across to me. I can give you an estimate on how much I think it would cost and how long it'll take to build and all of that sort of stuff. But that concludes my personal build of my KBD 8X2 with NovelKeys Creams switches with UHMWPE Stems. So thanks for watching. Obviously hit follow if you want to be notified when I go live next. I don't know when my next stream will be, but hit follow and you'll be notified when I go live. So enjoy the rest of your evenings, guys, if it is evening, or enjoy the rest of your days if you're Americans. And stay safe out there. Be cautious, obviously. And if you are going to be coming to the next MK UK meetup, I will see you there. So enjoy the rest of the evenings, guys. See you later.